today's presentation is about Lightning. So peeling the Lightning onion, I wanted to explore all the different kind of user-facing software projects that have been developing around Lightning. The first layer of the onion, at its simplest, we're just trying to send and receive value. And you might ask, why would we do that? The price is going up. There's no reason to be sending Bitcoin around. You should just be passively accumulating it, as a store of value. So it's not a medium of exchange. What's the point of doing Lightning? So all perfectly valid reasons to not be particularly interested in Lightning today. But if we look at the longer-term arc of how Bitcoin is going to evolve, eventually, we do see it being, a payment system that is widely used because it has built up a network of liquidity such that now it can be a medium of exchange. And the challenge is going to be having the technology keep up with this macroeconomic growth curve without sacrificing the fundamental properties of Bitcoin that make it interesting and make it have value in the first place. That is, that it's decentralized, it's trust minimized, and it's digital cash on the internet. So go follow Mustab Murad on Twitter, and he put together this excellent graph that is interesting to dig into in terms of Bitcoin's evolution. So what is Lightning? It's a network of Bitcoin smart contracts. It enables fast and cheap payments. It's decentralized and open source. So that's why I find it fascinating, and it's very much in line with the Bitcoin ethos. So I hope that if we want to get to a medium of exchange and we want to keep this technology evolving, ultimately end users are going to have to be experimenting with Lightning today. They have to be working through the kinks of how a Lightning wallet sends and receives value so that the developers can then improve the underlying software, both at the UI level, but also at the protocol level of how the Lightning Network functions. So the first place where a user is really going to interact with Lightning is just their wallet user interface. And a number of them have come up and evolved. The most recent alpha release was for the Lightning app. And that was like a week ago. And now you can be on mainnet, sending and receiving real Bitcoin on your mobile or desktop. So follow them on Twitter at Lightning. They've got updates coming out all the time. And again, I'm going to go through these different UIs. I'm not going to say which one is better than the other, because right now you should be trying them all out, and you should be experimenting with them all so that you can be comparing them and then providing feedback to developers. Because it's not the case that Bitcoin has a giant mega corporation behind it. Facebook isn't going to do this for us. We each individually have to be people providing feedback to developers and helping them steer this ship in the right direction, because it's a decentralized open source project, right? The next one I want to talk about is the Joule browser extension. So here, this sits inside of Chrome or Firefox or Brave, built by Willow Byrne. And I find it to be fantastic because so many payments are inside of our web browser, and it puts a little pop-up there to be able to send or receive Bitcoin. Zap Desktop is fantastic as well by Jack Mellers, who's going to be talking in a couple of sessions. And there he's focusing in on the UX design. And try it out. I think that you'll be really impressed by all the different capabilities that are in it. For merchants, there's BTC Pay Server. So merchants have completely different needs than consumers do when they are using a payment system. So they want to be able to generate invoices, and BTC Pay Server allows you to do that very easily. And then you can accept, whether it's Lightning or on-chain, you can be accepting payments from consumers. It has very good integrations with all of these different e-commerce platforms that make it so that it's trivial for a merchant to go deploy BTC Pay Server. It's open source, and it aligns kind of with the Bitcoin decentralized ethos in the sense that you can be self-hosting this and running it on your own server and you don't have to rely on a trusted third party to be able to have an e-commerce website. And that was built by Nicolas Dorier. Go find them on Twitter and go give them a try. Now, for consumers, might not make a whole lot of sense, but honestly, I would encourage you to try out setting up a WordPress WooCommerce store and see what is involved in selling something online. It's not as hard as it used to be. A lot of developers have built really great tools for doing that, and it can be as trivial as selling a sticker or a T-shirt. But to give you just the experience of both sending and receiving payments. Ride the Lightning is a more advanced UI that's for people who are really managing a Lightning node and want to be able to see the nitty-gritty details and the dashboard. So I'd highly recommend it. It actually comes bundled in with BTC Pay Server, so it's very easy to open up and get an idea of what's going on your Lightning node. Zeus is focused on being a mobile app that connects to your home node. So maybe you have a node running at home with Casa or on your desktop or your laptop, or you have it running on a server in the cloud. Zeus connects to that, and then you can be managing your node on the go. There's Spark. Spark is very minimalist. That you can't even send on-chain payments. They're focusing in on the C Lightning platform, which is a node built by Blockstream. So definitely go check it out, and I'll be talking about C Lightning in a second. Eclair is both a desktop application and a separate Android mobile wallet, and so I'd encourage you to try out both. They're also a separate Lightning node implementation. So we covered kind of the user interfaces that we're seeing emerge, and really that's all users should ever know or think about. And ideally, channels, they shouldn't have to manage channels. And the autopilot functionality would allow people to use the Lightning Network and send and receive payments without ever knowing about the mechanics of how the Lightning Network functions, just as people drive cars without understanding how an internal combustion engine works or how pistons work. So that's the vision. It's not there yet, but it's definitely a work in progress, and we kind of see it coming in the foreseeable future. So I want to talk about below that for the developers who are going to want to either be creating their own UI or they're creating some kind of custom application that really goes beyond the capabilities of what BTC Pay Server can do. They're going to want to work directly with a Lightning node. So I think the most used Lightning node currently is LND, built by Lightning Labs. It's written in Go. So if you know Go and you want to contribute to the ecosystem, definitely go check out their project. It's kind of got a batteries included philosophy, and by that I mean that all of the tools as a developer that you're going to want to use, you can find them in their API so that you can really build a rich application without having to try to figure out how to piece things together. And great team over at Lightning Labs building that. C Lightning has a different philosophy where they have a plug-in architecture. So it's highly customizable. It's written in C, so they've got a very strong emphasis on performance and kind of being the server-side Lightning node reference implementation there, built by the team at Blockstream. And we'll be hearing from Lisa in the next Lightning talk. Lastly, there's Eclair. It's written in Scala, and it's got a feature-rich API. Go check it out. If your background is like Java or that family of programming languages, you'll feel right at home and be able to contribute there with the async team. So if we look at Lightning, it requires understanding what's going on the Bitcoin blockchain. So you've got to either be running a Bitcoin node or using a new light client technology called Neutrino that is slowly being rolled out onto mainnet this year. And so Neutrino, it's not that you're not running a full node, it's that you're relying on someone else's full node that is going to be providing you with what's called block filters. And it's a fantastic solution. It's private enough, and it saves a lot on bandwidth, and it brings down the time of onboarding a user from many hours of trying to sync a Bitcoin full node down to a matter of seconds or minutes of just doing a quick neutrino sync. Now, for people who do want to run a full node, there's the Node Launcher, which I created, which is a desktop application that allows you to sync a full node and hooks it up with LND without you having to open up configuration files or get in the command line. So it's cross-platform. It works on Windows, Linux, and Mac OS. And the other option is to get dedicated hardware, because the problem with using a laptop or a desktop is you're turning it on and off all the time. And having a dedicated hardware, you can get it from Nautilus, who are presenting, or they have a booth downstairs, and Casa as well. So go check out their offerings. If you're trying to learn more, because this was all very confusing, go to ion.radar.tech. They've put together an excellent guide on how to understand the Lightning Network and start using it. So they have practical hands-on tutorials there that'll help you get onboarded. Of course, we've got to have the reckless disclaimer, which is that while we're experimenting with Lightning, there is a risk of loss of funds. So don't put your entire Bitcoin stash on your Lightning node. Really only put in like $20 or $50, whatever is not a catastrophe if your node crashes and somehow, or what happens more often is people just delete their data. I don't know why, but it happens. In any case, thank you. You can find me on Twitter. My DMs are open if you have questions and you want to talk Lightning.